Erika, Tally, and I are closing the door on one chapter and stepping into the unknown. With our home now empty and new tenants moving in, we're setting off for a year on the road, trading walls for wide open landscapes. First stop, New England, where we'll chase striped bass through the salt, exploring every tide and current that shapes the coast. This is more than a road trip. It's a pursuit of fish, freedom, and the wild places that call to us. The journey starts now. We emptied the house. It's starting to get real now. Everything is gone. Just a few little things left for the people that are going to be renting our house. So we're full commit to Vanlife.
Vanlife.
We're going to do this. Starting today.
Kelly's a little anxious. She says, "What did you do with my dog bed? It's gone. I don't know what to do with myself." It's okay, Kelly. It's in the van.
Sometimes the biggest adventures start with a bittersweet goodbye. We are eager for the journey ahead, yet leaving behind our home and community weighed heavily on our hearts. It wasn't just a house we were leaving. It was a chapter of our lives. But as the van doors closed and the engine rumbled to life, that sadness was met with excitement, a spark of freedom. Ahead stretched a road full of unknowns, winding eastward towards New England's saltwater shores.
Once we leave Montana, it's gonna feel real.
Yes.
So I don't think I'm quite feeling it yet, but I feel a little Akko Taco inside my belly.
Home isn't tied to a single place. Home is here, in this van. It's in the journey, and trading the known for the possibility of something extraordinary. With a mixture of nerves and hope, we set off. A little sad, excited, and ready to see where this road will take us.
Have driven 42 hours to get to this very moment here, where we're gonna meet up with my parents, Beth and Sean. It's been a really long drive. Me and Will are going a little crazy, and we're ready to stop driving. So we're almost there. Look at Jelly. Jelly, that's the ocean. That's the ocean.
Kelly, there's stripers out there.
Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Oh,
Yeah.
you like the bowl? Good. See, we could.
Yeah, Charlie. We did it. It's a miracle. We're on a sailboat in Connecticut with Erika's family. You guys remember Sean?
How you doing?
From doing some striper fishing.
The striper guy that didn't catch anything.
So we're gonna make ourselves a nice little steak dinner here on the boat and spend the night here on the dock since it's kind of late. A little too late to get sailing. We've done enough traveling, so tomorrow morning we'll set sail to an island and maybe go fly fishing for a little bit.
Steak tips and corn.
Asparagus.
Steak tips and corn and asparagus.
Just so your pee will smell.
Just think, Will, you can do a whole episode on bad dad jokes.
Yeah, you could. Oh my god.
So true.
Do not encourage him. How many times do I have to say that to people? We're off now.
So we're in Rhode Island now. We are headed to an island that is off the shore, and we're gonna stay there tonight. There's a lot of fish around. There's bonita and stripers and tuna, and I don't really care what we catch. So we're just gonna see what happens, see what bites. We're gonna figure it out and have a good old time while we're doing it. Now that we're in New England, it's time to bring you up to speed. The New England coastline is rich in history and biodiversity, offering a stunning backdrop for adventures on the water. Stretching from the rocky cliffs in Maine to sandy beaches in Massachusetts, this shoreline has been shaped by glaciers and tides over millennia. The coastal ecosystem is home to an incredible variety of flora and fauna. Salt marshes and seagrass beds provide essential habitats for juvenile fish, shellfish, and migratory birds, while the rocky intertidal zones host mussels, barnacles, and rockweed. Offshore, whales, dolphins, and seals can often be spotted, sharing the waters with thriving schools of fish like striped bass, bluefish, and menhaden. This region has been a vital resource for centuries, sustaining both indigenous communities and early settlers who relied on its abundant fisheries. Today, it remains a place where nature and culture intersect, offering a chance to connect with the ocean's rhythms and witness its wild beauty firsthand. Every cast along the storied coastline feels like a step back in time, into a living tapestry of history and life. With striped bass now moving through these waters, it's the perfect time to grab a rod and explore what makes this fishery so special. Time to go fishing.
Time to go fly fishing.
Well, we just made it out to the beach. It's extremely freaking crowded. It's a sea of people. I don't even think I can cast without hitting someone with my fly. So, we're gonna keep walking. Well, we managed to get away from the people. Big plus. Really cool shoreline here, some big cliffs. We got a lot of weeds though. Again, I don't really know what I'm doing. I know that there's stripers here somewhere, and we just have to find them. And this is that occasion where it's like all it takes is one fish. I don't care what it is, how big it is. That's all it takes to be like super stoked and fired up. Striped bass have been on my mind ever since my first and only time fishing for them back in 2022. Sean and I had an incredible day on the water with Massachusetts guide Natty Schneider, and I caught my first ever striper. Since checking that off my bucket list, I've been itching to return to New England to catch one from shore, unguided and on my own. For me, the ultimate fishing experience is about the process, putting in the time to learn about a species and catching it independently. When you start to understand a fish, spending countless hours on the water in pursuit, that feeling of success when it all comes together is unmatched. Fly fishing, for me, is more about the journey than the results. Striped bass are an especially appealing species to chase on the fly for so many reasons. They're an everyman's fish, accessible to anglers of all kinds. You can catch them using spinning tackle offshore or fly fishing from the beaches inshore. They take topwater flies, subsurface flies, and range in size from small schoolies to trophy fish. All of it is fun. Stripers can be a very visual fish to chase, exploding on bait at the surface, Or you can fish for them like steelhead, blind casting until you feel that electric tug, like a freight train just hit your fly. Striped bass are an anadromous fish, meaning they spend most of their lives in saltwater, but return to freshwater rivers to spawn. Every year, they migrate north from wintering grounds in deeper offshore waters, entering estuaries and rivers as temperatures begin to rise in spring. They spawn in fresh or brackish water, then head back to the coast for summer. In fall, they migrate south again, following food sources like menhaden and herring. Their journey is driven by water temperature, daylight, and food availability, making their migration a remarkable cycle of survival. That's what makes them such an incredible species to pursue.
Well, no stripers yet. It's time! It was fun. I didn't catch anything, but I did a lot of exploring.
Meringue video like Haley does in every single video.
Cheers!
Sometimes it's better to start a trip without a catch, letting the anticipation build. It makes that first fish all the more rewarding when it finally happens. The next morning, we packed up and made our way back to shore. As wonderful as the trip had been, it was time to face some things we'd been putting off. The van had held up well on our drive across the country, but the AC fan seized up and needed to be replaced. Of course, there are things to address with the van. First, we got to fix the AC. Now that we're in a much more humid and hot part of the world. So we're gonna take care of that. And then, of course, we got to fix the gas tank, which, if you watched the last video, caused us a few little problems that we've been neglecting since it started.
I was filling up the tank and fuel just spilled literally everywhere.
So we made it all the way across the country. This thing still works, but we got to get it dialed in. Our quick fix worked to get here, but I wasn't going to risk it in the long run. Sean is under there trying to get this thing fixed. We got it on jacks. Fuel tank is getting dropped. That's the last thing we had to do to the van. Fix the gas tank, fix the AC, and now we're gonna get back on the road and keep this journey going.
Got working AC.
After fixing up the van, we set our sights on Cape Cod, eager to fish from its legendary shores. But as soon as we got there, we realized it wasn't going to be easy.
Welcome to Massachusetts.
Well, here we go. Cape Cod. We're back at it again. My first time ever in Cape Cod. It's already feeling a little meh. I mean, it's beautiful here, the beach is sweet, but we were really hoping to come out on this beach with the van. You're supposed to be able to drive on it. And we quickly learned when we got here that there's a lot of rules that you have to deal with in order to approve your vehicle to get on the beach. It's kind of a bummer. You know, the East Coast definitely has a lot more rules than Montana does, and it's making me appreciate Montana.
The conditions were challenging, and no matter how hard we tried, the stripers seemed to be nowhere in sight. Adding to the unease, we came across piles of dead crabs scattered along the shoreline. It felt like a bad omen, as if the place itself was trying to tell us something. With no fish and a growing sense of frustration, we knew it was time to pivot yet again. Cape Cod wasn't the spot for us, not this time, so we packed up and pointed the van north, ready to try our luck in Maine.
We got our butts totally kicked in Massachusetts. We realized how hard striper fishing was actually gonna be. You know, for some people it's probably really easy. I bet a bunch of you watching are like, oh, stripers aren't that hard to catch. But for us, starting from basically nothing, knowing very little about this species, trying to catch them from shore, it's a little hard.
Maine welcomed us with its dramatic tide swings and rugged coastline, a perfect setting for another attempt at striped bass. Here in Maine, the tides can rise and fall over 10 feet in a single cycle, reshaping the shoreline and creating endless possibilities for where the fish might be feeding along the rocks, beaches, and within tidal rivers.
Well, we made it to Maine. We're at our very first spot. Leaving the rod in the van though. Just gonna go for a little walk with Tally on the beach. We already saw a sign, and it's a good sign for catch and release. So there has to be fish around if that sign is here. So we're getting warmer. It's calm.
It's super calm.
Well, so far so good. All the signs are pointing in the right direction here. We're really digging Maine already. We've only been here for like less than an hour. The beaches are beautiful, the access is good. There's fly fishermen here. Things are looking good.
Tally's
We're gonna freaking catch a striper, I feel it. We're gonna catch a striper. I think Tally is ready for us to catch a striper. Because we've done a lot of not catching of stripers. We've done a lot of striper fishing, but not much catching. She's a dirty beach dog.
Dirty beach dog.
Tally's the cutest. Well, it's a chilly morning. Definitely starting to feel like fall outside. Leaves are starting to change colors. It's the beginning of September right now, but I guess we're far enough north that it's already starting to happen. I'm not the biggest fan of wearing waders. Had to put them on for the first time in quite a while today. Can't tell you that it felt great, but we're out here, we're doing it. Haven't seen any other fishermen yet. And it's a beautiful morning. Sun's just coming up. It's feeling pretty good. It's feeling like it might be time for some stripas. Well, fly literally broke in half. So it's good to check your fly every now and then. Glad I did. Oh my God. I hooked into a striper. Sick. Oh my goodness. Yes. Striper in the fly, man. So cool. Feels pretty dang good to get the monkey off my shoulder. But dang, that thing hit my fly like a freight train. Just smashed it so hard. That feels really good. Time to catch some more. Little striper. Almost as soon as I switch flies. See you, bud. Well, I'd call that a success. Started at 6:30, it's now 9. Fishing for 2.5 hours, caught 2 stripers. After not catching anything for like 2 weeks, it feels pretty freaking good. So, sun's coming up, tide's going down. There's a lot less water right now than there was when I got here. It's crazy how fast this tide's dropping. It's probably gone down like 6 feet in the last 2 hours. Never seen anything like it. These rocks that I was standing on earlier that were completely underwater are now exposed.
This is some real New England shit right here. Spiced apple. It is in fact fall in New England. With our pumpkin cinnamon Gouda.
So one thing that we get asked a lot by our friends and families is, how do we shower? Why is there no shower in our van? Well, all it takes is a body of fresh water and some Dr. Bronner's. Oh, it's cold.
You got it.
Yay. Well, we had a really fun day on the Maine coast. It's a really beautiful place. It's super cool standing in the water while we're striper fishing, just looking around at all the buildings and boats and just the environment. It's so different than what we're used to. The whole Maine experience has been top notch so far. People are super nice. The fishing's been good. We've caught a couple stripers. So we're just gonna keep going north, see what we see. Don't really have a plan.
Or down east, as they say.
It's weird they're saying down east because it's north.
That's the main thing.
But I guess it's a Maine thing. So we're learning all about Maine. It's pretty fun.
I wadered up, walked out to the beach, and was immediately greeted by a strong wind and rough water.
It's mucho not easy to fish right now. It's really windy and it's really rough. Maybe this will calm down. Wow, that guy's ripping on the windsurfer.
When the kiteboarders are out, it's usually not a good time to be fly fishing.
We're on the road along the coast in Maine, and we're basically just going around and scoping out different parts of the coast that have inlets and rivers that are dumping into the ocean, because that's where the stripers like to go. And this is a point that sticks kind of far out into the ocean compared to the mainland. So we're gonna go check this out. We're about 5 minutes away. We're just gonna park the car, walk the coast, and see what we can see. This definitely feels like coastal Maine. There's a seal swimming around, a bunch of birds, a lighthouse. It's very pretty.
Our morale was dropping, but we knew the only way to succeed was to push forward. So we kept searching for striped bass.
There's a lot of bait fish around, haven't seen any stripers. Feels really fishy. Seems like the spot. Like there's rivers coming out this way, tides going out. These are pinch points, like this is where the fish I think should be. But nothing yet, so we're gonna keep trying. Out of basically a week we've spent striper fishing. We've only caught 2 stripers, so we've gotten used to not catching them at this point. But instead of striper fishing, right now we're gonna go to this bar that's on the water. It's a brewery, and they've got some Maine lobster.
Lobster rolls.
The striped bass we came all this way for have been elusive, and our high expectations, born back in Montana, have been met with tough fishing and moments of doubt. Still, the hope hasn't faded, because that's the thing about fishing. It's not just about the catch. It's about the persistence, the belief that just one more cast could change everything. Just tying the old classic Clouser minnow. And now we're here. One last day, one last chance to make it happen. And I could feel we were in the right spot. Up until now, the coastline had been crowded with boats and people. Here, we had our own little slice of paradise away from the noise. Everything seemed to point towards a big striper.
Nope. Oh my gosh. Erika. Yeah. It feels like a big one. I'm in my backing. Oh my goodness. Literally in my backing. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That was insane. That
Good
was
job.
literally right off the bat.
Good job.
That was like second cast. Holy cow. I'm still like shocked that just happened. Like striper fishing and actually catching stripers, what? Super strong fish. Very worthy adversary on the fly rod. Pretty exciting to get one on foot too.
Catching that beautiful striper at sunset was a moment that I'll never forget, and this special species of fish needs our help. Striper populations are in decline, and at this rate, the future for striped bass in the Northeast is looking grim. To help protect these fish, you can exercise proper catch and release methods in conjunction with fishing barbless hooks. You can also support or become a member of organizations like the ASGA. I'll leave links in the description below so you can help. It's been a journey that we'll never forget. Traveling the rugged coastlines of Maine, chasing stripers, and soaking in the beauty of places we'd only ever dreamed about. From rocky coastlines to sandy beaches, every stop has brought us closer to the heart of this wild and storied place. We've laughed, explored, and experienced the magic of the ocean in ways that remind us why we started this adventure in the first place. In the past few weeks, our lives have transformed. From the comfort and stability of living in a house to the freedom of roaming the country in our van, finding a new place to call home each night. Our daily routine looks nothing like it used to, but every day brings a new adventure. This is the life we've dreamed of for years, and it's only the beginning. Next, we head inland to chase native freshwater species on the fly.